All right, now we're doing 7Q Fun with Lists, anyMatch plus allMatch. This is by Janitor Mir, and 92% of the people like it. We're going to implement the methods anyMatch and allMatch, which accept a linked list head and a predicate function. It also returns true if any or all of the elements apply to the given predicate. All right, so for example, given this list 1 to 2 to 3 and the predicate x, arrow x is greater than 1, anyMatch should return true because both 2 and 3 are valid, and allMatch should return false because 1 is not valid for the predicate because 1 is not greater than 1. All right. The linked list is defined as follows. Here's what it looks like right here. And note the list may be null and can hold any type of value. All right. So what we need to know about are these linked lists in JavaScript. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen them, but apparently they do something like this. There's like, they call this data and they call the rest of it next, right? So, like this is a data and this is this. Okay, so there's a data colon 4, next colon 15, next colon 7, next colon 40, and then they always point towards null. Okay, something like that. And this is basically as we just saw on the other thing. Trust me, I don't understand too much about this, but that's basically what it's getting at. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to use a conditional operator, a ternary operator, which is the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 if operands, a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. And the operator is frequently used as an alternative to an if-else statement, which is what we're using it for. So let's start with this anyMatch thing first. First, we want to know if head even exists, because like down here, the first 4 are null. So we have to say head question mark, right? So if head exists, what are we going to do? So the thing we have to do is first we have to run the first part of the list, which is this one, the data part, because it's for some reason, because since this doesn't have a next pointing to it, this part's called the data. That's what I'm getting out of it, at least. All right, so we're going to say p, and we're going to, because this is a function, so we're going to say p, and then we're going to say, what are we doing here? We're going to say head dot data. That way it targets, because it's like a list, it's one of these lists right here, so it'll target the first part of that list. All right, and then we're going to say or, because since it's just we're just seeing if any of them are good, we're going to say or here, and then we're going to use recursion, which is the act of a function calling itself, basically. We're going to use recursion to do it again to the next one. So we're going to say anyMatch, and instead of head, we're going to say head.next, head.next. That way it goes to the next one, and p. All right. So basically, it's just calling itself again for the next value. All right. And if not, so if head doesn't exist, what we're going to say is false, just like that. I wonder what will happen if we test it. Whatever. Anyway, the first one must be an any or an all. Yeah, whatever. So now we're going to do this allMatch, and it's pretty much exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to take this whole thing down, except for a couple of differences. Number one, we're going to have to check everything to see if everything matches. So we're doing and right here. We're going to change this to all, because that's the name of this function, and head.next this. So the other thing is, if there's nothing in it, then it's going to be true, because according to this allMatch thing, since it didn't even have to go through once, it is actually true. All right, so now let's test it out, and it works. Good, awesome. Attempt it. There we go. And I'm sure in some future kata we'll be using this what was it even called, the list thing, the linked list in the future. But we'll figure it out later. We've got plenty more kata to do. So pretty much looks exactly like this one. Let's go to my solutions. Oh, it is this one. Best practice in my opinion, and we'll see you next time.